If you take bullshit, people give you a lot more. I felt like I was not being treated as an equal. I felt that I was getting a lot of value, and I know who I am, I know what I am. So for me, if you're not treating me with the same respect as I treat myself, it's not like the male co-actor was a senior or much more experienced or much more successful, and I was doing a film. And I used to see small things like a different car being given, a different kind of room being given. Yeah. And I would be like, but why? Don't make me feel small just because I'm a woman. How are you judging the actor in me by the way I look from the outside? These clothes I like wearing, and that's why I'm wearing. Yeah. But I can change that. And I wanted to I was like, no, I'm going to change this. And fortunately, Bareilly happened.
Hello everyone, I'm Rudrani and welcome to Speak Easy. This is the Wonder Women of Zoom TV special. My guest today is a woman who has created a space for herself. She's a complete outsider. She came here, chose fantastic roles, and of course, she's a successful entrepreneur today as well. I'm talking about, of course, the wonderful Kriti Sanon. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you, it's a pleasure.
I was also going to say she's a great friend and also a person who gives great advice. So women, particularly, you must listen to this interview very carefully today. We've known each other for a while now. And I have seen you grow and do exactly what you had promised that you will. I remember you say, today when you look back at the kind of opportunities you're getting, Kriti, you're going to start right there. Tell me how that makes you feel. It must be a little emotional as well because, there was a time when you started and you were not considered for roles like that. And look at where you are today.
I know, and we have spoken so many times. You're one of the very few people in this business who, is into journalism, but I still feel really, really comfortable talking anything and everything, even off camera. I know it's not going to be like, used in a bad way, whatever. And I know you're always rooting for me, and thank you for that.
Always.
And I think we have chatted before, off camera. Just feeling restless, almost frustrated, which I used to at a point, because I felt that I didn't have the kind of opportunities that I really craved for. And, for an actor, I think the only way that you can sort of do more and show more of your talent is if you get that material. If you don't have that kind of material, if you don't have that kind of film and the opportunity, you can't do much. Jitna role hai, utne mein utna hi kar paoge aap, right? So I was I think maybe like some 4-5 years back, I was kind of restless because I felt that there was a lot that I wanted to do and I just didn't have those options in front of me, to choose from. Whether it's the certain makers that I really wanted to work with or the kind of roles that I really wanted. Or the kind of variation that I really wanted in terms of the projects. And it feels really good to finally be there. I think I somewhere knew I would get there. I had that belief in me that I would get there. It's just that I wanted to get there then. I wanted it to be now. And it was taking its own time. But today when I look back, I feel like, maybe everything happens for a reason. And maybe it took that time, for me to stay rooted, stay humble, value the fact that, I worked and waited for so long to get the kind of opportunities I wanted. And to also be a little more ready maybe for the opportunities, I feel like when Mimi happened to me, maybe if it happened like 5 years back, I would have not delivered the way I did. Maybe I wasn't ready enough at that point. So I feel like things sort of happen for good for a reason. But I'm glad as long as they're happening.
Yeah, a Filmfare Award winner.
Finally. Now, I really sort of I think I used to sort of practice my speech also, like before.
So cute.
I used to do it even when before I got my debut award, before I got my debut film. I used to a little bit practice my speech of when I'll get a debut award, And I have a tendency of slightly blabbering and talking anything and everything in my bathroom at times. So, like sometimes I'm like, what am I even saying? But I used to do that before I got a debut award. When I got the debut award, I think many times I used to sort of feel like, okay, maybe this film or maybe that film. And I used to be like, okay, what am I going to say when I get my first Best Actress, Black Lady, And, but actually when it happened and when you're on the stage, you forget everything that you've planned and everything that you wanted to say, and it just has to come from the heart, and that's what happened.
But I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
On that note, of course, the films that you wanted to do, and let's take a quick check at what's coming up as well, right? Of course, we've discussed this a little bit. We have a film with Anurag, which is an action film. Then, of course, you have a film, with Shahid, which is a love story.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about how different all of them. Then, of course, you're playing Sita and Adipurush. And I feel like all of these characters are not just diverse, but I also see these women will have agency. And I'm sure now you make sure that characters that you pick up have agency, have something to say.
Yeah.
How important is that for you today?
So I think as much as we all want that, I want meat in every character. I want every character of mine to say something more, feel something more. But I don't think it's always in our hands.
Yeah.
And at times we also need to sort of cater to all kind of audiences and sort of mix it up. Also, as an actor, you also sometimes like I remember when I finished doing Mimi, shooting Mimi.
Yeah.
Yes, the lockdown happened, but I had gone through such an intense thing that I wanted to do something
Fun.
light and fun and wear pretty clothes and all of that.
Easy
So
breezy.
yeah, you do songs. I
Yeah.
really wanted to do that. I think in every stage and phase of your career, and this changes with months, in every other month, you feel like doing something else, and your gut is telling you something else. You feel like attempting something else, because you also don't want to get bored of the same kind of zone, the same kind of genre and the cycle. Having said that, all the ones that you're mentioning ahead, I mean, not
And
all,
the crew.
but yes, the crew.
Both
I was
we
about
have
to say,
that's a
yeah.
separate question altogether for
Yes,
me.
yes.
Because you know how delighted I was about
Yeah.
that.
But all of them, I'm fortunate that have a very different sur and a very different genre, and it's going to be a very different me. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm really excited. I'm shooting currently the film with Shahid, which is, I wouldn't say it's a pure love story. I think it's a quirky, very different kind of a love story. Never really been seen or done here before. I am playing a character that I don't have a reference point to at all. I can't say more, but it's extremely unique.
Cool.
And it's something that made me feel like I don't know how I'm going to do this, and that kind of that kind of challenge kind of excites you as an actor,
Yeah.
And I'm working with him for the first time, which was lovely. I think we really look very good together on screen, which is great for a love story.
How you see today the evolution for films for women right now? Of course, you have you've seen the change. You've been a part of the change, and it's obviously slowly progressing towards even better things. But we have been discussing for a while that have budgets increased?
Budgets, have they increased? Maybe depending on the film. Right now, also the market is in a very different space, so I can't really judge it for today. But the kind of roles that are being written for women, there are more of these lovely stories which are centered around a woman character, which are coming up now, and they're being made a lot more in number. So that's really great. I think it's a great phase to be a woman in this industry. As long as you do value yourself and also stand up for yourself.
Which you have to.
Yeah, so that has happened, and yeah, I think people are taking women seriously and actors seriously in general. Also, what I feel like after COVID in general now, what has happened is that it's not actor specific anymore.
Yeah.
It's not gender specific anymore.
Which is a relief.
What's happening is it's not like men are ruling, the box office or anything like that. We did have also Gangubai who did really well.
Yeah.
That did really well. So I feel that it kind of depends on the story now. The story has become the star, which it should have always been.
Yeah. The crew.
Yes, yes.
Kareena Kapoor Khan, Tabu, and
Yes.
you. But to see a frame where you have Kareena, you, and Tabu, I think is another level of validation.
Yeah, I mean, they both are obviously amazing actors, and actors who have changed the game for themselves, who have been constantly at it and are looked upon for the value that they bring to the table, and very empowering actors.
Yeah.
And to be in the same film shoulder to shoulder with them is great. It's sort of, like you said, a different kind of validation. But I also feel that I always wanted to work with, you know, really amazing female actors, which we don't really get to.
Which is where it's coming.
We don't get to.
Absolutely.
I mean, the only ones I've worked with are like, you know, Seema Pava. There was, you know, Supriya Pathak, who've played like my mothers and all, but not like as whatever equals or you know, a team player or whatever. So I feel it's nice that a film like this is being made. Firstly, you know, on 3 women, and I think we all like. I love watching. I wouldn't call it a chick flick, but I love watching films which are like, you know, these
fun,
like even
3
women, 3 men, whatever.
Also,
yeah. I mean, a lot of films, Charlie's Angels, Sex and the City, so many of them, and you want to watch these. So I'm glad that it's happening. And when Riya came to me with the film, she is also a very empowering producer.
100%.
And her point of view is very progressive. She's very, you know, today and modern and sort of values women in general. Being a woman, obviously. And she came to me knowing my capability, and she was like, you know, I think you are doing very well in your career and what you have done, and you know, the films that you've done, whether it's Bareilly, whether it's a Mimi, like it's sort of, you took up the challenge and you took a risk and you did them, and I really value that, and I want you to join us on this film. So I feel like she kind of, you know, when you get that respect, you get that value from the other person, you also sort of come with all your heart, you know. Okay, so insecurities are there in every field, in every person. No matter how much we say, of course, if you've worked like 30, 40 years in your life, you wouldn't really have the insecurity. Everyone feels that they want to be valued and respected for what they get on the table. And I think, there are some actors who don't really want to do these kind of films. It's to each his own. I think they really should be made because I really enjoy watching like a lot of actors, good actors come together, create some chemistry and magic, right? But sometimes it's also dependent on the film and the way the roles are written. You know, I feel like sometimes the roles need to be well etched and well balanced for everyone to feel okay with what they're doing and to feel like they are not being undervalued in any way, you know. And that's what happened when I read this script. You know, when I heard the narration, I just feel like every character is so well written. You know, when you watch a Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara or when you watch a Dil Chahta Hai, you remember all of them for what they brought. They had their own moments of shining, you know, of playing the character. It was not about making just it lopsided and one-sided, right?
100%.
So I think that if you get a script like that, I don't think it matters then.
You mentioned about insecurities, people knowing whether we have enough screen time and all of that. You, though, have figured out a way to even deal with that because I don't think that has ever been an objective for you. Look at Bheriya. You know, your character, you know, her character comes in the film for not too long at all.
Yeah.
But you remember her because also the end is so wonderfully done by Amar.
Yeah.
And the character has its significance.
Relevance,
and you realize what the story has been trying to tell through her. And I think that's fabulous. People always talk about itni, matlab, you know, screen time and all of that, but I feel like that has not been an issue for you. And
but you know, that's never an issue in Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like Meryl Streep or Brad Pitt come and do like, you know, these smaller roles and leave an impact, and you remember them and you're like, wow, they did such a small role, you know, and they came in this film. How cool is that? But here, when you do it, nobody really appreciates it. It's really, and they're like, oh, but why? You know, but why not? You know, it is, for me, I actually loved the film. More than anything else, I loved the film, and I felt that it was a really, really good film with what it was doing. It made me laugh. It was saying so many things in such a subtle manner, and
some of the best VFX we've seen.
Yeah, it made me emotional. I loved the director, and yes, I felt like at the end of it, I'm playing the alpha bhediya.
Also now, legit, you can call yourself an entrepreneur because now you have things that you are your own babies that you have.
Right now it's one baby.
One baby, but eventually I'm sure.
But yeah, there's one more in the making.
There's one more, I told you, there's one more
I'm
in the
just saying.
making.
I think for me, everything has to start from passion.
Yeah.
The financial and the money aspect is a byproduct. It is something that will come out if it's done right, and it's going to be done right only if you do it with all your passion, and your reasons for it is that.
Yeah.
You know, my reason for Tribe was never like, oh, I'm going to earn a lot of money out of this and all. No, actually. It started with just feeling the need to stay fit and the fact that I'd gained 15 kilos, and for the first time in my life I was feeling unfit, and lockdown happened, and I didn't know gyms were shut. I was like, oh my, what do I do? How do I lose this weight?
Yeah.
You know, and I started working out with Robin, who's one of the co-founders, virtually. And I lost all my weight virtually in my room.
Yeah.
That's how it all started. So for me, I wasn't even looking at the monetary aspect of it. I just felt like this is something that has potential and I believe in it and I just want to do it. There's another thing which I can't announce, it's too soon, but which is in the making, another brand which again is coming out of a lot of passion. I was almost obsessed with that and the category and everything. I can't say anything.
How are you balancing work and play then?
It's only work. There's no play right now.
But you know what I mean? Like how it's crazy for you, but how do you ultimately kind of relax and kind of think like, because you know mental health is important and you yourself is important.
Yeah. It gets to you sometimes.
Yeah.
So it does get to me also at times. And I'm like, okay, I'm not feeling okay, or I'm feeling restless, or I'm feeling low, you know, and you have to sort of sometimes consciously step back, take some time off if you can, you know, spend time with your family, understand what you're feeling. I sometimes start writing down, you know. Journaling, just writing. I feel like it's a good outlet for me. That's something diary is only for me. It's not like anyone's ever reading it. It's just my feelings, but I think that a little bit helps me. Sometimes just like having a relaxed time, or maybe, you know, getting away for the weekend helps you, or just chilling and meeting your friends. There are days when I'm like, okay, I don't want to do anything. Like, I'm like, don't even call me for any work. And I tell my parents also कि मुझसे कोई काम मत कराना, मुझे नहीं करना है. So, and you're just in your bed and watching something that you really want to watch. So you have to, and I think with time I'm realizing I fill my space with work. I really fill it. Like, I always want some time off, but I don't give myself that chance, and I'm like, no. कर लेते because I'm driven, you know, and that's how I am. But I have to consciously, like, sometimes take a week off or whatever. Like right now I've told my team, which is not going to happen, but I've told my team, like, in July I want 15 days off and I don't want to do anything in those 15 days. I want to take off for a holiday. I said this, and knowing this, all my dates are going lopsided and things are getting pushed and films are getting pushed, और वो वहीं पे आके होगा कुछ. But it's life. You have to balance, but you need to balance it. It's very important.
I think for all women, there's a time in your life where something just clicks and you're like, you know what, I'm going to change the way I'm feeling about how people around me treat me or how I treat myself. And then I think you know that this is what you are, this is what you want in your career, this is what you want people around you to treat you. So I want to know that moment and how it finally changed for you. I think it'll be help a lot of people who sort of are going through that.
It's so amazing because you're asking me this right now. It is something that you don't feel just once in your life or twice. You feel it very often.
Yeah.
Right, for anything. It happened with me during, like, before Bareilly, obviously, where I was like, you know, someone had told me that I don't think you know, you're a little more glamorous, you're an urban girl, I don't think you can look like a small town girl. And I was like, how are you judging the actor in me by the way I look from the outside? These clothes I like wearing and that's why I'm wearing. But I can change that. And I wanted to I was like, no, I'm going to change this. And fortunately, Bareilly happened. Again, I was sort of really restless before Mimi, and I was like, you know, I want to do something meaty. It's just not happening. You know, I want to. There's so much more I can do as an actor. And Mimi, like a lot of people told me that, okay, you know, but mother, why would you want to play a mother so young in your life? You know, and it's fully on you. Also, it's surrogacy, it's such a serious topic. You know, I mean, चलती नहीं ऐसी film normally. Arty है क्या? तुम बहुत arty हो गई हो. Yeah, I heard people made perceptions about the film without knowing the story of it. You know, and I was like, no, you know, I don't care. I have to play a mother. I have to gain 15 kilos. I'll be looking a little bigger, fatter. I will have a child in the film eventually who will be like 4 or 5 years old. It doesn't matter. I love the story, and I need to do this. And I sort of just jumped in. I felt it then. I am honestly feeling it right now, where I want to make a shift, where I want to do something else. I want to do something a lot more meatier. I feel like Mimi was like a jump, and then it's been like nice, and I want to make that jump again. So every time you feel like, okay, I've been doing well and I'm liking what's happening, but I need more. And that always happens. And I feel like at this point, I'm feeling as an actor that I want to take another jump. I read it somewhere that you should actually be happy, restless.
I like that.
Which means you have to be happy with what you're doing and what, you know, how your things are going, how your work is going. You're happy with where you are, but you're restless because you want more. You can't get happy and satisfied.
You know, you also have dealt with the sexism in your own way, and I think today you're way better at it, right? But it's a journey.
Actually, my only way is that I just say it. You know, for me, I am a big feminist, and I don't understand why people feel feminism is like going pro females and anti men. That's not the definition at all. It's just being, it's just wanting equal opportunities and equal treatment.
100%.
So it's just equality, and I am really like, it's something that bothers me. You know, if there's any kind of bias, and I end up just saying it. Like, I'm almost blunt. I can almost
an example of that.
Oh, yeah, there was one film sometimes where, you know, it's not like the male co-actor was a senior or much more experienced or much more successful, you know, and I was doing a film. And I used to see small things like a different car being given, you know, a different kind of room being given. And I would be like, but why? You know, don't make me feel small just because I'm a woman.
Yeah, and that exactly is an example of it.
So I feel like people are changing. People are getting a little more progressive now. But I feel the patriarchal society is not going to go completely away because it's just been ingrained in our mentality since so long. You know, and you have to stand up for yourself. And that's what sometimes happens. If you feel like you're not being treated well, there have been situations with me not so long back where I felt like I was not being treated as an equal, you know, and I felt that I was getting a lot of value, and I know who I am, I know what I am. So for me, if you're not treating me with the same respect as I treat myself, then I don't want to be a part of it. So I have also stepped away from certain things and been like, okay, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to be there only. You feel like you don't need me, you don't need me.
And that's the best thing. And I really want you all to listen to this carefully because this is it. It's fine, right?
So I feel that if the other person doesn't value you, then just don't be there. Don't be there just, you know, as a sideline or, you know, just don't be there in the background.
Just don't.
Only because you're a woman. You know, for other reasons, if obviously the scene is a certain way, you're not supposed to be the whatever foreground of it. All that is fine. But in life, I think you have to just start valuing yourself, and that's the only way. Only if you value yourself will the other person value you. You know, I've realized if you take bullshit, people give you a lot more.
100%. So, say that louder for the people in the back.
I swear. I feel like you need to stop taking shit. You need to stand up for yourself and you need to say this is not okay.
100%.
So it happens, and it happens in very small things.
Microaggressions.
Micro ones, which are not actually big deal or, you know, a bigger thing or whatever. And they happen so subtly. like it's
Okay.
okay, you know, and I think you have to just sort of stand up for yourself and say it's not.
And I'm glad that you've not normalized that, which is what people continue to do, right? And this is what has also, I feel like this, what you've said, also exists in the way you look at love and relationship, I feel. For an actor, it's crazy because everybody wants to know who they are in a relationship with. For us, it's okay if we've broken up and we've moved on to another person, but that's, for actors, it's going to be get written about.
Yeah.
But you have still, I think, managed to sort of protect it, and I think you value it. I feel like this philosophy that you said, you also follow it in your relationship, that value, that you have to be valued, you know?
Yeah, and I feel like honestly, there's a large part of my life that is anyways out there in the open, you know, for anyone and everyone to judge and comment on. But I feel like there is a certain part of my life which is not Kriti the actor, but Kriti the human
Person,
being,
yeah.
which I want to keep protected, you know, whether it is, you know, my family, whether it is also me feeling vulnerable at times, or, you know, shutting myself in a room and maybe crying over certain things that you will never know of.
Yeah.
So, or it is a loved one or someone who I'm in a relationship with, because I just feel like it's not fair. You're not the only one in it, right?
The other person's involved.
The other person's also involved. Also, it's just not fair to sort of give people the right to actually say anything and everything about your personal life. It's none of their
100%.
business.
Absolutely.
And I actually share a large part of my life with my fans and with my people, and I know that they understand when I don't.
Yeah, they do.
So I feel that when I have been also in a relationship or I've not, I've just never really spoken about it, and that's how I've been.
And I feel like that's also made it the way it is. The
And you
sacrosanct
know what
part of
happens
it.
is, once you speak about it, and then tomorrow, if it doesn't end up working, it still is sort of
There.
there, and if people feel like they can just say whatever, and they know it all, what's happening in your life. They actually know nothing.
100%.
So yeah.
And that also, of course. And also, I think after a certain point, the marriage question it happens to actors as well, I want to let you know. Dealing with the marriage questions when you're
शादी
getting
कब
married,
कर रहे हो? सबके साथ होता है ये line हर लड़की ने सुनी है.
which happens to us also,
Yeah.
of course, by our parents. But now, and for actors, though, it's like a thing. Like they assume that it
And
has to.
especially when other people are getting married, they're like, oh, what about you? I'm like, but ये कोई मतलब 1 पे 1 free हो रहा है? What is this? Is there a season going on?
Look, when you look back at your journey, okay, the one who started right there, and today when you look at the position you have, the kind of calls you can also take, and the battle you kind of fought, and it is a little bit of battle, right?
Of course, yeah.
Tell me how you look at it and how you look at the journey that you've had, and for the ones who don't know, if you had to give them advice as to the ups and downs of life and how you dealt with it in that perspective.
The journey that I've had, how I look at it, I feel like it has been a learning experience. I have learned everything from acting to everything about filmmaking to how to be and how to conduct yourself, how in the media, or even in your personal life, how much to take things seriously, how much to trust people, how much not, everything. I feel like I've taken baby steps and learned at every stage of my life. And when I look back, I do feel extremely proud, because even though I knew I would get here, I sort of didn't know how, and I managed the how. And sometimes it can make you feel frustrated, it can make you feel low, it can make you feel like you are not getting what you deserve, or the kind of opportunities that you want are not really there. But just trust the process, and sort of, what I always say is, sort of keep evolving and getting better at what you do. And that was always my aim. Whether it was a failure or whether it was a success, everything I think I've learned something from, and I've moved ahead. It's also important to move ahead. The advice that I would give people is just the fact that there will be a lot of noise around you. A lot of people will tell you why you shouldn't. A lot of things can go wrong, and sometimes they will also go wrong.
Yeah.
But just know what you're doing, and if it's coming from a place of passion, believe in it and believe in yourself, because you need to believe in yourself way more than anyone else does.
Yeah.
And And I always feel like don't let go of the core of the person that you are. It's very easy to change in this industry. You're surrounded by so many people and so much chatter that it can really change the person who you are. And suddenly you look back and you don't really
See who's this person.
Yeah, you don't really see who you were, And it's impossible to please everyone. But as long as you can relate to that person in the mirror, that's really important. And also take risks, like in life.
It's fine
What
to
happens
fail.
is our brain is actually made for survival. It is for survival instinct. So your brain is always going to tell you, ये नहीं करना है क्योंकि ये मुझे आता नहीं है, ये मुझे पता नहीं है. I don't know how I'm going to do this, so don't do this. And it's going to give you 1,000 reasons of why not to do that.
Yeah.
But only if you get outside the comfort zone and sort of take that risk will you be able to grow.
100%.
Yeah.
When I told in the beginning, she gives great advice. This is
Suddenly
exactly
I'm sounding
why.
like this.
Kriti, it's such a beautifully
It's on
done
rent.
house. Doesn't matter.
I always say that.
Why do you have to say
You have
that?
to ground yourself.
Doesn't matter if it's rented. It's a beautiful house. It's wonderfully done. But I think it's
Thank you.
always important for a woman. This independence of that you've built it right from the beginning, and where you are is also the house that you stay in, Kriti.
Yeah, obviously. I feel like, sometimes we all are like wanting to save everything that we have. But I'm working so hard to sort of also give my family a certain life that I want them to have. So there's no point waiting for like 40, 50 to happen and then sort of live that life, right? Live in today as well.
100%. Okay, Kriti, our favorite thing to do. This is the Women's Day special fun questions. Kriti, are you ready?
Okay, ready.
Okay, a female co-actor that you absolutely want to collaborate soon with, and why?
I'm already collaborating with Bebo
Yeah.
and Tabu,
And, yeah.
so I'm not taking their name
No,
because
thank you.
that's already tick marked.
Correct.
Vidya Balan.
I would like to see that film.
I would love to work with her.
A female director that you can't wait to work with, and why?
Zoya. I love all her films, and I feel like she's fantastic, and she sort of every time she does something, she sort of changes the game and she shifts a gear, which I love.
So yeah. Okay, something that you would never do.
Yeah, something that gives a wrong message in general.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to give a wrong message to people.
Yeah.
It makes me uncomfortable when something is very regressive. So as long as it's being shown as regressive,
Yeah.
then it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Then it's fine. Or is there a manifestation that's actually happened for you?
That's actually happened for me. I mean, the Filmfare Award, I feel. That was a manifestation.
That's a good one.
That kind
That's a
of
good
happened,
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a
Yeah.
good one. Okay. What are the funniest DMs that you've received?
I can say one more that I want to happen, which I can say.
Yeah.
Which I think I will do very soon,
Okay.
is I want to produce.
Which is exactly where I was hoping you'd go with.
Yeah. There are certain stories that you feel like you want to tell as a person
Yeah.
and not just as an actor. So I do want to produce eventually, and I think it'll happen very soon.
Because that production house is going to be awesome. But what are the kind of films that you would hope you go in that direction with?
See,
that
I mean, I don't want to limit myself and say this kind, but I always feel, I mean, I want to tell stories that have some heart and soul, that sort of, do something different, push the envelope,
Sure.
Have something that kind of connects you.
An advice your mother gave to you that you'll always remember?
Mother gave to me that I'll always remember. I mean, there are many, but just like stay humble, while you do what you want to do and while you climb up in life, just don't ever lose that touch with the ground.
3 women who inspire you and have impacted your life in some way or the other.
3 women, definitely my mom, in a big way. I feel like,
Of course.
all my values and my thinking comes from her. My sister, because I feel like she always grounds me a little, and she always has, sometimes I can go like really blind in love and all of that, and she sometimes becomes the
Gets you
elder
back.
one, and she's like, I don't think you should do this, and you're not like,
Yeah.
why are you behaving like this or whatever. So I feel like she's a little bit of a sounding board sometimes. 3 women who have impacted me. my God, it's very difficult to think.
Can be or inspired you, impacted you in some way or the other, na? If you've looked at someone's journey and that's inspired you, to
There are many like that. You know, I always feel like very inspired by Priyanka and her journey and her confidence. I feel like, you know, she's sort of never, and even Bebo actually.
Yeah.
These two, in fact, a lot. Because I feel like they've done what they really wanted to do, not really gone by the so-called rules and, you know, achieved what they wanted to and lived their life on their own terms.
100%.
Yeah.
A fictional female character that you would have played, and or you would have loved to play. A fictional Hindi female character.
मतलब already जो हो
Fictional,
चुका
हाँ हो चुका है उनमें से a character that you would have loved to play, and why, on screen. There's so many.
Yeah, there are so many. I mean, I fell in love with Geet from Jab We Met, so I always wanted to do that. But I feel Tabu and Andhadhun,
Love, fab.
I think was
Fab choice.
outstanding.
That's a fab choice.
Like, I want to do something grey, you know?
Yeah.
I really feel like doing something grey, but yeah.
Thank you so much, Kriti. It's been wonderful.
Thank you, Rudra. Always.
And wonderful spending time with you, specifically because we're celebrating Women's Day. I would request you to wish all of them, to all the women who are watching, and to all the men who are watching, and to everybody who is watching, something from your side.
To all the lovely women who are watching this, a very, very happy Women's Day to you, and I hope you're giving yourself a lot of love and you're living the life that you want to, and dream big, and there's nothing that you can't do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sending you lots of love. I will always cheer for you, and I think this is just the beginning.
Thank you.
Because it's limitless.
Yeah, it is. I agree with that totally.
It is. And I think it'll only get bigger. Producer and all that.
Soon. Manifesting.
Manifesting. On that note, thank you so much. This is a Women's Day special, and happy Women's Day to all of you. And we hope that you've listened very carefully to some of the great advices that Kriti gave here. Thank you so much.